Everyone to another edition of Willow's Weather Briefing. Today is Thursday, May 29th, 2025. Today we have severe thunderstorms in Texas and also for the areas of the coast in South Carolina. We have rainfall for much of the United States east of the Rockies, particularly southeast. So areas of that coastal plain. We have heat for the peninsula, particularly in centers. Here's our satellite look for today. We have cloudy conditions for much of the states. We have a bunch of disturbances here in the southeastern United States. They're the main two that we'll be focusing on today's weather and also upcoming weather. Here's our drought monitor for today. Our solid lines demarcate the areas of greatest concern for. Here's our current watches or warnings. Fairly quiet in terms of severe weather today. Have excessive heat watches or heat watches here in the California and areas west. We also have excessive heat warnings over here in the central southern Great Basin. Elsewhere, it's pretty quiet right now. Here is our surface map. I have a low pressure system sitting here over Oklahoma, which will bring a front down and try to initiate some severe weather down in Texas, also aided by that dry line we have here. A bunch of boundaries for convection today, but our main low pressure system is all the way up here. A more powerful one is day 2 tomorrow. We have a continuation of that low pressure system that was originally here in Oklahoma that will move its east along the stationary front, which will cause an associated flash flooding threat here in the Ohio Valley to Appalachians, and also a severe weather threat here in. Will also bring cool temperatures for much of the areas of the southeast. That's a lot of heat recently. Day 3 on Saturday, that cold front is making its way off the coast, and again, much below average temperatures, or below average temperatures generally, for areas of the southeast. Here is our day 1 excessive rainfall risk. This is valid today. Marginal risk across much of the eastern United States. The areas that will probably see the most rain, probably along the Gulf Coast around this region from New Orleans, Mobile, Alabama, and also the region right here, demarcated by the slight risk today here in the coastal plain. Both regions could see otherwise pretty gloomy day for most of the eastern states. Tomorrow, we have a slight risk of excessive rainfall for portions of the eastern Ohio Valley to Delmarva. We expect 3 to 6 hour total up to 3 inches in Ohio Valley to Appalachian region, while areas closer to sea and the Delmarva region expect about 1 to 2 inches over. Still exceed flash flood guidance as given centers over 5 corridor. Day 3, a marginal risk of excessive rainfall. So, hurricane season is coming upon us pretty quickly. We have our first tropical depression in our side of the globe here. Tropical Depression 1E here in the eastern Pacific Basin and forming off the western or southwestern Mexico coast, expected to meander its way and move its way up to the Gulf of California. This is expected to strengthen into a tropical storm, but not expected to maintain that much. And also, like that, not expected to make any significant impacts to the continental United States. But this is just a reminder that hurricane season is upon us. Here's our convective outlook. We have a slight risk over the central Texas region and also a slight risk along the plain. Primary risk is going to be large to giant hail in areas of central Texas, cities like Lubbock, Abilene, Killeen, Midland, Odessa. You're in that significant hail risk, but also damaging winds and maybe a tornado or two. For the coastal plain over here in Georgia and South Carolina, the main threat is going to be. So here is our heat outlook today. Still have lingering heat over here in Florida. Temps up into low to mid 90s, especially in urban centers where you will get less heat relief overnight, as you can see here in Tampa. Low of high 70s, and that is largely the same thing for Orlando. But that will deplete late this week. But by late this week, we will also see an increase in areas such as the Central California Valley and central to lower Great Basin regions. We expect temperatures around the low to mid hundreds for much of these areas. But again, the area obviously that will have the most heat is the lower elevations of lower Great Basin, Death Valley, and all that, where temperatures are expected to reach up to 100, also the mid hundreds elsewhere in. But this heat wave isn't really expected to last too long. By Sunday, temperatures should retreat much closer to normal, though we will see an increase due to that ridge within Utah, so portions of the northern plains by the end of the week, early next week. We will see a return to heat by midweek next week for much of the eastern United States, and in areas like the Great Lakes and Midwest, all the way down to areas that have had heat for, including central and southern Texas. So here is our extended range hazards outlook. We have heavy rain over here in New England, southern Florida, and much of the North Plains to northern Rockies. We also have an excessive heat or hazardous heat threat for the areas that I just. Our 6 to 10 day temperature outlook here, June 3rd through 7th, we have above average temperatures for much of the eastern United States, especially areas around the Great Lakes. We also have below average temperatures for much of the western United States. 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, above average precipitation in the northern United States and also the Florida and also portions of the central United States, especially areas such as the northern tier of Minnesota and the northern plains. Low average precipitation for areas like New England to the Pacific and also portions of the Southwest. This is our HREF guidance for the timing of our storms. Right now, today, focused, of course, on the central Texas region, the plain over here in South Carolina. Move forward a little bit. The storms in the coastal plain are expected to increase in coverage very quickly, possibly at around maybe noon or even possibly earlier than that, and then increasing coverage as we move forward in time. Storms in central Texas threats will form off the dry line at around a pretty classic time, maybe 20Z, about 3 p.m., then make its way eastward toward populations of Odessa to Abilene, possibly around nighttime, maybe 6 p.m., where those should. Right, that is going to be it for today. Have any questions or concerns, please leave them in the below. And if you have or want any specific information regarding your area, please refer to your local broadcast or National Weather Service meteorologist. Thank you and have a great day.